Get out your pens and your paper and get ready to take notes, because we're going to break down the formula in today's live stream known as Satoshi's secret. This is the most game-changing, absolutely hands down, that will prove in a moment, insight that you can have in the crypto market. Interestingly enough, guess who just stumbled across it? Virtual Bacon. This guy is an OG. He went to college to learn about the technology, so that's his niche and specialty. While we were searching around for other creators who invested in Spectral recently, we jumped over to his channel and started catching up with what he's putting down. Inside this video right here, Virtual Bacon himself starts doing some out-of-the-box research on FOMC meetings, and he's putting all the puzzle pieces together side by side, creating Satoshi's secret model. It's almost like he's in a laboratory and he invents gunpowder, and we're about to turn that into a full blueprint for a naval cannon, so it can be total domination across the market. Once you realize what this is, once you see Satoshi's secret, trading will never be the same for you again. It's that powerful of an indicator. You can go to college to study this for years. We've been implementing it over the past 500 days inside our VIP group, including, this is a trading plan from pre-FOMC meeting. And of course, Satoshi's secret has to do with the FOMC, as we just saw Virtual Bacon tunneling around through this monetary policy. We'll get into those details in a moment. Knowing as the rate cuts were coming up, DeFi was going to be a hot sector. On July 1st, we had already targeted this as one of the strongest DeFi plays on base. We're starting scheming for a buy, thinking that the initial rate cuts were going to be bearish because of historic data. Thinking, well, when it's at 22 cents, 0.4, we're thinking maybe we can get a pullback. A bit later, it gets up to 30. Now we're looking for the pullback to 30 to load the bags, and we get that piling in. Some traders who were Caspa maxis. One guy has a double shark position inside VIP. He dropped 50K down on this MoonWell trade at 20 cents a piece. He's now got a majority position in MoonWell. And this is all connected to Satoshi's secret. This all links up to FOMC data. And when you flip the script on it, you can start using it for selling. This is Spectral. This is what actually originally led us into Virtual Bacon's channel. He's been loading the bags with this. Of course, Virtual Bacon, having a college degree in studying technology, it's good to see that he's buying the same AI projects that we are. This also, direct correlation with bond market. This was the Bank of Japan carry trade crash, and these are all linked. It's all linked to central banks. It's all linked to monetary policy. This is when we started planning to load the bags on this GameFi play, actually based in Japan. Knowing Satoshi's secret, one thing, then knowing how to vet projects in detail is another. This stuff is very monotonous. It's time consuming. You're reading white papers over and over again. The key point here was step 15, global placement. This game Fire, strong, good GameFi game, Matrix Fire, they're located right in Japan. So obviously when the BOJ carry trade's going down, we're like, this is good. We're thinking it's got some value at 80. 18 hours later, it's down here. And we're always planning our trades in advance. It's never one of those quick, you gotta buy right away like you'll see in the Peach Fuzz Mafia. If you don't act in 15 minutes, the opportunity's over with. We're planning well in advance using FOMC monetary policy data to our advantage. Scheming, what's the Fed gonna do? If we could know what the Fed was gonna do, we'd be super rich because we know exactly what to trade. They could have went up on September 18th and wrecked the market, but they didn't. So we got this, even the add-on is a triple up, and we start taking profit. This is the take profit trading plan right around here. That's the add-on. So beautiful stuff when you get into this. Back to virtual bacon. So the way that he was breaking this down and putting it all together is actually completely different from the original OG who showed me this. I learned this from Roaring Kitty, coming over from actually not crypto, but the stock market. This is a GameStop add-on trade. That's about 10 days before the massive rocket ship happened on GameStop. And this correlates all together. That's how powerful of an indicator this is. I'll show you the Tesla chart. It's not just GameStop, it's also Tesla. This will literally change your future of investing, whether it's in apartment complexes, stocks, or especially crypto. This is going to give you the edge that you need. This Tesla rose exactly parallel with GameStop, which rose exactly parallel with Bitcoin, the total three, the entire kit and caboodle. It's all tied in together. Let me show you what we're talking about here. Zooming out. See this date right here, February 20th? That's the exact same date that Tesla peaked. That's 30 days away from when GameStop rose to the upside. So a lot of people in crypto are misunderstanding why the market peaked. They're centering it in Bitcoin. They're saying, well, it's the halving. So we know it's 500 days after the halving that peaks. This is Satoshi's secret. And also one of the key elements that Virtual Bacon will, I'm sure in time, put this all together himself. Satoshi, having a masterclass in economics, knowing the way that monetary policy works, wove the Bitcoin halving cycle in with the federal liquidity markets. What are you talking about? Let me show you right on the chart. Taking this arrow right here, this is the prior cycle rate cuts. Briefly after the Bitcoin halving. The two work in tandem. It's 4 years later.
Exciting now.
Guess what starts going on? The exact same scenario. This time, the halving took place first and then the rate cuts. And any of you guys who follow Wall Street, you've probably seen some pop-ups on your Google News feed screen saying, oh, the FOMC and Jerome Powell have been late to cutting rates this year. And yes, that's true. Typically, they would cut rates before the Bitcoin halving cycle. And this is all part of Satoshi's genius. When he designed Bitcoin, he designed it to absorb the money that we're about to do a journey into accounting on, using entirely new insights. So everybody who's already seen this breakdown before and they understand this very crucial chart, which every crypto trader needs to be looking at. This is going to change your taking profit strategy. And for everybody who's like, oh man, I got in kind of late. I didn't get the ultra low on a lot of projects that I did. Next cycle, I'm going to absolutely make it big. This is what you're going to be utilizing to time the absolute bottom. And this is, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants here. I had picked up GameStop 120 days at the earnings call before the giant rocket ship happened, which is like 30 days away from the Bitcoin top and the Tesla peak. It's all incorporated because it's all coming from these federal treasuries. And we're going to go down first, Virtual Bacon's insights, because he added a whole new flavor to this. And then we'll go over our standard model. Just to summarize what's going on, to just clarify this, on February 20th, the FOMC slashes rates down. They cut them by 1.5%. This is a time-delayed indicator, meaning in about a year, see, these are the one-year treasuries. And what Virtual Bacon did is he started breaking down and studying from the viewpoint of the FOMC's holdings when they're selling all their treasury bonds. They also have mortgage-backed securities and other forms of debt and gold, things along this lines, but it's mainly treasury bonds. And this is providing more liquid. As we know, the fiat system, it's like a monopoly game. And the way that they prevent inflation from getting out of control is, even though they've printed so much money, they just say, yeah, we're going to offer you yield to let us hold it. And they give them, this is showing how much they're paying. 3%, just recently it's 5%, which is extremely high. What happens here is they're like, we're not giving you anything. We're actually going to put all the money back out on the street. So the rates are at zero. This means that there's all this liquidity in the market. This is Satoshi's genius. He aligned this cycle, which happens every 4 years, to when Bitcoin halving, so it would restrict the supply as the demand increases as well, making Bitcoin an asset that just soaks up liquidity from the bond market. It's like a moray eel just latched onto the bottom of a great white shark, just absorbing and getting bigger. Now look at these dates, and then we'll get into virtual bacon. February 20th. This is February 20th, 2021. And remember, this is also Tesla, GameStop. It's all coming from the liquidity coming out of the bonds and treasuries and then going into risk on assets. Total 3, same thing. But the Total 3 is a different beast. We know this because it needs cash and liquidity on chain in order to grow. This, without a doubt, played into the MoonWell call out at 3 cents and the whole fact that we were scheming before the FOMC even took place. Even though we were wrongly thinking it was going to be bearish, we still got in at 3 cents and then kept adding the whole way, knowing DeFi was going to start to rocket on rate cuts. Why? Because as this bond market injects into on-chain, for Wall Street, it's building jobs, building new factories to build electronic cars. Inside of crypto, this is when AVAX can start to build Trader Joe. Caspa's way ahead of the game because they already have KRC20. Typically, these projects need an injection of liquidity. This is the distribution phase, and then the sell-off. But we'll get into that in a moment because just like this February 20th date looks exactly right, we can time exactly when the bull run is over to a radar precision accuracy. Next level, like, oh my God. If you go back and watch all of social media from the last cycle, people are like, I don't know why everything's crashing. I have no idea. It'll come back up. Some people are even thinking that incorrectly. What was happening is this. The FOMC is now hiking rates, which means that they're going to pay the investment banking class more cash to let them hold their money. And when they do that, that means liquidity is coming off the street. And they're doing this to control inflation. This is directly connected with jobs. You guys have probably heard that the jobs number are in high and this may prevent rate cuts. This is all tied in, and this is part of taking your trading to the next level. This isn't some magical nuance that I've suddenly invented. Everyone in the world is doing this. It's hidden right in plain sight. It's on every television channel. They're showing that old guy, right? Powell in the FOMC. He's everywhere. This guy. Macroeconomic trends, huge indicator. This is the biggest secret to why we've been just outperforming everybody. I mean, these trades, not to brag, but this is supposed to be competitive. Coming from a background in poker, for one thing, you learn how to be patient. These are the best trades over the past 90 days. It can get boring at times. But what we're looking at right here, we've only got 2 filters. 10 million market cap and up, and we want at least a 500K volume. We could even lower that to like 300K, but 500K makes it pretty safe. We search, and what we're looking for is the absolute best projects over the past 3 months. These are the biggest gainers. The majority of them are goofy meme coins that we've never heard of, right? Coming up from a 10 million market cap, like Dolan Duck. There's MoonWell right there. So out of real tangible cryptos, these are all meme coins. This one might not be. This is the best trade, excluding meme coins and excluding micro caps and also those weird ones that have like $100,000 worth of volume. That's a niche of trading within itself. You want to have enough volume to at least have 1%. So if you're putting $5,000 down, you need $500,000 a day in volume. MoonWell's the best trade. Keep scrolling. We actually put this one on one of our thumbnails. This is very similar to MoonWell, not as bullish. DEAI. This is somehow my second biggest position because it's been rocketing up so much. And it's the only one of my 4-pick bag. You guys know that I'm a Caspa maxi. Over the past 90 days, we've been diversifying. Why now? Because the Fed's getting ready to cut rates. This changes everything. In fact, on the total 3, you see this giant falling wedge pattern right here? You want to know why this started? This is when the halving took place. You know what the Fed was supposed to do? They were supposed to cut rates then, and they didn't. And this started spooking investors. And this caused a sell-off in the market. And then to top it off, you've got Captain Gary Gensler picking his personal vendetta with CZ, and they sue Binance right here. So we know immediately Coinbase is hot because Binance is not. So now that they're ready to cut rates, this fear is over. And what this total 3 chart, this represents all the altcoins. It's all the market caps combined minus Bitcoin. And this is going to break upside. This is going to break and run. Once we cross specific levels here, like 665 and right around 800 billion, making new local highs, it's going to just run. It's going to just break out dynamically. Super awesome. While we're talking about DEAI, let's mention a side thing that we'll get into in a minute. So I've only got a 4-bagger. All of them are priced at the round number of 10, except for DEAI, MoonWell, Caspa, and Spectral. All of those projects are stuck at the round number of 10. There are entire books on trading that you can purchase on Amazon or in Barnes & Noble that teach and go over theories, tactics, and methods for trading around round numbers. $1, 100, 20, 10, especially 1 zeros, 10s, 1s. These are huge stopping points. And it's kind of funky that out of a 4-bagger, 3 of them are stuck at the number 10. It's just mind-blowing to me. Mind-blowing. Beebs has been doing his homework on Ether. We have 24-point reports on this. You remember that Matrix Fire trade? This just makes sure that you go over every single detail. Unfortunately, because most cryptos are kind of like technology meme coins, they're not getting any real-world use. You've got to use these to find red flags, but they also help find pots of golds or things that you can use on the fly, like step 15, find out where the project is centered globally. Matrix Fire, centered in Japan, allowed us to get, those are like actually filtering out all the junk coins, the best possible trades you could have got. Excluding meme coins, they're like 1, 2, 3, and 7. They are it. So what we're working with here in this model that I'm showing you guys, do not take it with a grain of salt. This is it. This is what you're looking for. And it's also the missing indicator that technical analysis, people always do their naked TA. They're like falling wedge, rising triangle, and that's great. Big fan of technical analysis myself.
The shape charge indicates that they are technically proficient.
But you can't do it naked. You've got to back your ascending triangle with fundamentals. This is going to break to the upside. The ascending triangle is showing this because of such and such. And those fundamentals are so often people are trying to get them on chain. Oh, there's an exchange listing come up. But in actual fact, it's the FOMC. And this is what we do inside VIP. There's an FOMC meeting coming up. So now's a great time to join because we're going to break down all their numbers that they get, analyze the jobs data, wage growth, and everything. So let's break down more of what. Well's looking big. So when we break down all of its competitors, do you guys know what the main kind of cousins are or the family of Well? You're getting into projects like Aave, these DeFi lending type of projects. Last cycle, these were capping off at around 2 billion on average, Aave being the leader, getting 7 billion. Now, there's a lot of things to factor in that can increase that. So right away, we're seeing a $2 billion minimum on average, which is going to be like a 15x from here based on its historic competitors. These models aren't always accurate, but this is the best that we can build. We can go a step farther and look into their actual book value, which we've been doing inside of our VIP group to help analyze that, the popularity of crypto, and the amount of money that the FOMC has been printing. Because not only do they have this enormous bubble of cash right here, they've also got the M2. So there's more money than ever just floating around. They've just been printing so much cash, and that cash needs to go somewhere. It's like 60% more money worldwide. They're hiding how bad inflation is. This whole fiat system is at the end of its rope. Virtual Bacon was breaking down how the feds have their own balance sheet, because the way that they're playing Monopoly, correlating back with this chart, is they have their hands on these bonds. As they're buying them off of the bankers, the investment banking class, Jane and Jump Street, BlackRock, two major investors in Marathon Digital, which happens to have their thumb on the pulse of Caspa. For anybody who's feeling the sweat of Caspa, just remember, BlackRock, Jane Street, and all these big VCs around Marathon Digital, they've all owning a slice of Caspa. They've got their finger on the pulse. That is so huge. So we can just take a sigh of relief and relax. Plus, there's the Binance Gamma Squeeze between 8 and 10 cents. So that's something else, but locking in there. Back on task. Let's not get sidetracked. So the Fed's going to buy these bonds off of BlackRock, and they're going to give them cash. And so what Virtual Bacon did was he started studying when the FOMC is unloading and going to start buying back, and then correlating that with the altcoin market cycle. As you can see in the previous cycle, this is a lagging indicator. So once the FOMC turns around and they start buying back their bonds and the interest rates are still low, that's a signal that the peak is in and it's getting ready to round up. Because this is showing how much they're buying back. They're buying back, they're buying back. And then eventually right here, look at this. This is the all-time low. We'll say December of between 2020 and 2023. Right here, look at that. Boom, cratering. Why is it cratering? Look at that indicator right there. This is when the FOMC has all their monopoly money, all this fake stuff that they printed out. They're like, haha, this is worth something. We got you guys. Go to work now and pay your taxes. Do not invest in crypto and become financially independent like Jesse and the gang. They've got all the cash. So obviously Bitcoin's going to tank. People are like, oh, it was Terra Luna. It was Sam Bankman-Fried. No, those are additional factors, and they're hiding the real source, which is, it doesn't matter if Sam Bankman-Fried was just still running FTX. Terra Luna never happened. It's still going to crash. And of course, they start adding regulation in around this time, like right around here. They started protecting investors in crypto. right? The White House started releasing new policies, very anti-crypto. This is when they sent Gary Gensler loose. It was right here. And they're all working together. It's just a big club and we're not in it. But it doesn't matter because guys like Roaring Kitty, Virtual Bacon have been studying, putting everything together, and we've already got the plan. Bulletproof, lockdown. We've been trading with this for a while. This is why we started our channel in the first place. We opened the channel right here, and this is going to help all you guys who are like, dude, next cycle,
I pity the fool.
who has to park my Lamborghini in valet, right? Because you got in a little bit late. Timing the bottom, the final rate hike. So again, that's when the Fed's saying, we're going to pay you money to let us hold your monopoly junk. And they're just working together. Once the Fed gives that signal, and it's only 25 points more yield. So it's not like the biggest pot of gold in the world, but it doesn't matter because they're playing teams against retail. Just bloody trying to cheat the average Joe who doesn't know this stuff. And they're hiding it in plain sight. This is why I opened the VIP. This is why it's only $47. We've got to fight. We've got to get ready. There's like total annihilation coming in this world financially. Who knows how bad it's going to be? You've probably been here. They're creating like this oligarchy of rich people. Well, we've got to get stacks of paper. Forget about canned foods and ammunition. You need some cash, man. Cash is always going to be working. Right here, they raise rates. Everybody, crypto banter, altcoin daily, they're going, oh, this is the last rate hike. It's altcoin season. You can go back to your favorite channels and everybody on the May 3rd, because the FOMC raised rates, the entire internet was saying this was bullish. That is the most ridiculous thing I've heard since ASICs would crash Caspa. So we're shorting AVAX here. Jane Street taking the signal. They dump all their legacy coins on Webull and Robinhood right here. Guess what happened with Caspa during this entire event? Caspa was rock solid. So all of altcoins are in a dumpster fire. Caspa's kind of going sideways and starts to ramp up at this FOMC meeting. And that gives it a direct correlation with investment bankers connecting it to this bond market. Looking back at the Caspa FOMC chart, right here's when we made the 10x leverage trade on Caspa. We're still trying to prove our oats on YouTube. No VIP, just saying, okay, guys, right here, I think it was November 2nd or 3rd, like 48 hours before the God candle. 10x leverage trade Caspa right now. This is it. It's about to break out. 48 hours later, the God candle. Sick trade. These are all FOMC breakouts on Caspa. And then this top was actually an FOMC too. And guess what we've got coming up very soon? What's that? Oh my God. This is the exact narrative that was going on every single FOMC meeting. Oh my God, Caspa's going to 7 cents. Oh my God, this is it. Caspa's over with. We're all going down. Oh my God, I sold on my Caspa. This is it. It's like, and now the FOMC meeting comes. Now, this is different when we get into technical analysis and fundamentals. Because Caspa's still in a world of hurt. You guys know we shorted the KRC20 launch. We shorted it, just knowing this is the problem with Caspa. At this point, it's only got one use case. You know what it is? Meme coins. As soon as you mint a meme coin, those teams are instantly selling that. Instantly, like almost robotically. So there's loads of selling pressure on Caspa. These guys are pirates of the dark water. I don't believe that it's a massive manipulation correlated. These guys just saw an opportunity. They saw the Peach Fuzz Mafia was surrounding Caspa, how much they loved meme coins, and they were like, we're going in for the kill. And they're just got their hand in the cookie jar, robbing Caspa's market cap. It's all going right into the pocket of the teams. Long-term effect? No. Kind of Jonesy right now? Yeah, great opportunity for sure. So these were projections from like 50 days before the pullback happened. And again, we correlated this inside VIP to what? That's right. Monetary policy and this whole concept of building and developing on the street. We're actually below where our original projection was at 12.5. And we're getting trapped in that $10 round number. I mean, obviously, now that we're zoomed in, we have a better idea of what's going on. And the success of the KRC-20 launch, insane. Insanely powerful. Oh, yeah. I know. Caspa is the leading technology, like this whole breakthrough. BlackRock, Jane Street, they own it. Marathon Digital mines it, and people are swapping it for JPEGs. I know. It's completely wild. Totally wild when you really think about it. And this is the Binance futures while we have this open. So back to the whole God candle breakout. So it looked like the God candle was going to be pretty good, but not like massively epic. And then all of a sudden, this is so weird. Like,
can we see the paperwork on those?
Why is Binance doing futures on Caspa? That's just the most out of this world idea I've ever heard. CZ, who owned CoinMarketCap, remember they wouldn't rank Caspa correctly on CoinMarketCap? He was like against it. Why? Polychain Capital. They are Coinbase off the books, and they have their hands directly tied with Caspa. So this is a competition between Binance and Coinbase. Absolutely. Binance wants nothing to do with them, but Gary Gensler and the United States government, you may have heard, have been shadow controlling Binance. BlackRock, they've got their finger on the pulse of Caspa because they're the majority share owners of Marathon Digital. I don't think that it would be too much of a conspiracy tinfoil hat to assume that BlackRock, who owns Marathon Digital along with Jane Street, pulled some strings to get the Binance futures. Why wouldn't we have Binance spot trading? They've done this before, and they create a gamma squeeze. A gamma squeeze, exact opposite of a short squeeze. Now. The last time BlackRock did a gamma squeeze, it was right in everybody's face, right around here, for the Bitcoin ETF. First, BlackRock buys the seed fund for the ETF. So they're exposed to Bitcoin. They know how volatile crypto is. They don't want their competitors to show up and, try to do some manipulation. They're like, we got to protect our investment. What do? All of a sudden, Coinbase, under heavy regulation, mind you, they're suddenly allowed to do futures on Bitcoin. This creates a gamma squeeze. Every 24 hours, the market makers have to rebalance that position. So your 10x leverage trade long on Bitcoin gets rebalanced every night, creating more buying pressure, attracting more bulls, and it just rockets it. And this is a gamma squeeze protection play, engineered by BlackRock, as clear as day as Bitcoin. We've caught them ultimately red-handed. And as gamma squeeze sleuths, we can see the same thing because the Binance future is just sticking out like a sore thumb. It's the smoking glove. It's the bloody glove, right? Therefore, this is a really hard level to get through. This is a great question, and this is one of the reasons why the 24-point checklist is so important. So I remember when our good friend Spectral started dropping videos saying that Alphium was the next Caspa and stuff. So people in VIP were like, Jess, would you mind going through the 24-point checklist to make this an easier system to use? And this is such a powerful tool. Other larger creators have copied this and created the 25-point checklist. You know your stuff's good when bigger creators are just stealing it and rebranding it. But to show a deeper understanding and to make it easier to use, we also created 84 copy-paste questions that you just punch into ChatGPT. Here's the other reason we have to admit why we've been so successful. One, this Satoshi secret stuff that we understand. Two, the repeating trendline technical analysis. But three, we actually have an assistant that's smartest guy in the room, and it's artificial intelligence. So we definitely hone in on how to use AI to help you with your trading. And it's all about asking the right question. The guy who opened Kinko's, became a billionaire, private jet, built it up from nothing. He teaches a class in Harvard about business just for kicks. And what he says to the students is, just think all night about the one question you want to ask me, because the better the question is that you ask, the more money you're going to make. So we've got 84 questions inside of your printouts. So you actually get stuff for your trading journal inside of our VIP group, including these 24-point reports. Guess what they're on? And these are old. We've had these for months. They're on Spectral, which is one of those leading gainers, DEAI, which just did like a 500x, Aether, which is the leading DPIN project, and Alex Becker pick Desync, Destra. Those are 4 different AI projects, and you read all 25 points on them. Once you go over all these details, you can start to see a lot more about the project. So back to Aether. We started finding some red flags like as soon as we got to step number 3, which is go into the team's GitHub page. As you know, cryptos are open source. So when you start getting into Alphium's GitHub page, you guys have probably seen links on that when you're clicking around websites and things of this nature. It's like, here's a link to the GitHub. That's all written in code. So layman, you're a real estate agent, you're a lawyer, doctor, painter, plumber. You don't know how to read code. I don't know how to read code, but we need to understand what's going on inside that GitHub page. That's like the warehouse where everybody's working. So who do we turn to? Virtual Bacon? He might know, but so does AI. And so we ask AI, hey, why don't you tell us, for one, what code is this written in? And we know Ethereum, written in Solidity, Caspa, transferring from Golang to Rust, Solana, Rust. So you've got your coding languages that are common and popular. And this is all in the videos on how to use the 24-point checklist. Here's one of the major red flags on Alphium. The coding language that they use is called Ralphium, so it's customized. This means that they can't take developers from Solana, they can't take developers from Ethereum because they have to be specially trained in this particular coding language. Nobody's going to college for it. All the dApps that they have such low volume that, in my opinion, like that NFT and that liquidity pool, the last time I checked a few months ago, it had like $100 on it and like $50 worth of sales a month. The liquidity pool and NFTs. This just looks like the team themselves whipped up these dApps. They could do that in a weekend with developer tools, and they just put it up as window dressing, like, hey, we've got dApps. Everything's rocking. So what Alphium is, and there's still upside potential here, but I just want you to understand where it's coming from. It's like a meme coin of technology, and the majority of crypto are. They don't actually get that real world use case, like a DeFi, where people are actually borrowing money, like MoonWell, or like a Kaspa, which is a breakthrough Pentium chip type new computer processor. So something that you got to watch out for. That was my take on Alphium, and I was hoping it was going to be a gem. Went into it bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and immediately got stopped out. And then as you keep going, there's even more. But those were two of the glaring ones. And this is something that you pick up after you've been vetting a lot of projects side-by-side layer ones. I've done tons of layer ones side-by-side. One that was actually pretty epic that nobody talked about, Zetrix. This is in China. We called it out back here at 5. They're running the whole DMV in China on this. That's why it's not listed on CoinMarketCap. This is actually a top 10 market cap size project. It's like 30 billion, 15 billion. It's insanely huge. Zetrix. This is a solid layer 1. But obviously the time has passed to get in on layer 1s. That's what we do early. As part of diversification, layer 1s first. We don't know what the FOMC was going to do. Imagine if Powell went up and he said, I'm not cutting rates. That might have actually saved Caspa, because as a layer 1, it's going to be way stronger. And instead of diverting all this capital into DeFi, they would have been like, oh, well, we got to go with Caspa as more of a store of value. Layer 1s are what they go for early, as we showed with that Caspa chart. The connection to the FOMCs would have been way more. But obviously that was DeFi and AI's time. Why? Because they're setting up this big distribution phase with Satoshi's secret right here. Actually, to be historically accurate, Caspa never really ran on hype. It was always getting really bad social media content, if any at all. Back here, all the Caspa videos at the bottom of the cup were all saying it was going to go below a penny. It started with Son of a Tech, who's an ASIC miner. Those guys are terrible at charting. That's why, and that's fine. That doesn't mean that they're not intelligent or experienced or they don't have any value. Everyone's mind works differently, right? Some people are good at spelling. Some people are good at math. These guys have great skills, and it's an art form and a whole different craft to mine profitably. But when it comes to charting and trading, they're usually lacking. That's why they ended up down that route. So if you're someone who has a really hard time with charting, it's still a skill set. It's not as easy as just buy and play. You got to time your entry and all kinds of stuff. You're more hands-on-y. Maybe mining's the right way to go for you, but trading makes more money, hands down. Dude, everybody was saying Caspa was going to dump just constantly. It was so bad. The only people that were bullish on Caspa were Crypto Galaxy, myself, Caspa Silver, and Crypto John. That is it. Everybody was like, nope, terrible. And it keeps repeating. Every time we had one of these downsends, it would be like, nope, nope, nope. It's all been, look at this. So this is so telling. As Satoshi's secret, a spinoff from it, we're recognizing that as this liquidity and this money is swapping hands out of the FOMC into the hands of the investment banking class. Remember that poker video in the beginning? We're playing poker, retail, investment banks, central banks, the teams, the mining warehouses, the whales. It's all playing against each other. And the teams, these KRC20 teams, they just hoodwink the Caspa community hardcore. That's another great example of how using AI can help you trade. You can just ask ChatGPT, go over the scenario in detail, breaking down Caspa, a layer 1, its first use, hosting meme coins. What's going to happen? And it will tell you straight up, well, when they mint, they're going to sell. This is going to be bearish. It's going to cause downside. So people are looking at these old Caspa, like the Caspa short sale trading plan. We were actually like, yeah, let's just go ahead and short Caspa. This is all in part combined with technical analysis, artificial intelligence, and the whole to boot. AI backing up our theory and technical analysis, giving us the exact level and date. While we've got this up, we can take a trip into the Twilight Zone. That's not the X-Files, is it? Yes, it is. Okay, awesome. All right. So this is pretty far out there to call, and we had this selected from way back, like September 5th, Caspa was going to run up to the 18-cent mark, get rejected, and then drop down to 12.5 cents. I mean, that's pretty far out there to hit that exactly properly like that. And the way we do this is our technical analysis. It's called the repeating trendline system. This is all over the undergrounds of the internet. The massive difference between stocks, which we're all classically trained in stock charting. Stocks and cryptos are two completely different charts. Why? First off, the halving. We're all here because of the Bitcoin halving will restrict the supply, combined with Satoshi's secret every 4 years causes a massive wave, and the emission schedule. Because there's a strict emission and halving schedule, these trend lines repeat themselves over and over again. And it's not just on Caspa. We'll show you some other examples in a second, starting with looking at the original run-up back here in March. You just take this trend line and you clone it. Let's make it colorful so it totally stands out. You clone this trend line. There you go again. And you can rewind and watch our videos on Caspa. We were using this exact trend line and another one, which is the y-axis. We get this breakout. Now look. Same trend line again. Here it happens again. Now back here on Caspa, our group got in at 11.5 cold storage, and then we entered into a 10x leverage trade at 12.25 and a 7x leverage trade at 13.3. Those are so low, they survived the BOJ carry trade, but it doesn't matter because using technical analysis, we already realized that the BOJ carry trade was coming in and we had a stop loss warning before, not even realizing how big it was going to go down just from that head and shoulders. Back to the repeating trend lines. And now here's the coup de grace, this one, because this one's way different than the other ones. You guys have heard of the Wickoff charting method. It's actually from stock markets, and it's about charting a breakout. You're taking the downward price channel, and then you're looking for lateral movement away from that downward channel to then chart your breakout. Applying an augmented version of this, we have a gravitational field, which is the farthest distance the price is channeled away from the x-axis Fibonacci. Now, we can actually measure these with tools, but this is going way too into VIP. And one of the reasons why we have this group chocked filled with information, because each one of these rabbit holes goes way deeper, and each one of our trading plans incorporates to a technical analysis video and or post, to a macroeconomics data, to a on-chain 24-point type of research data. So as we're trading, always planning in advance, never shooting from the hip. We're scheming these like days, weeks in advance. MoonWell, we started looking at that on July 1st, months in advance, just waiting, knowing Satoshi's secret when it would be time to go for it. And it worked out, which was dope. So how we got into these, and I'm going to explain these leverage trades because this is exactly what's happening right now. So we get in at 12.25 because we're escaping the gravitational field. That represents the farthest distance the price has gotten away from this x-axis Fibonacci pitch right here. Here's the issue with this new gravitational field. It's enormous, right? This is the x-axis trend line, and we actually utilize this if you zoom in, which we will right now. We utilize this to do more add-ons with Caspa right here. As soon as the price crossed this x-axis here, we were like, yeah, we'll add more leverage trades. Hence the fact that we were watching them closely, saw this head and shoulder pattern, and then we queued a stop loss. And that's actually inside of our classic pattern collections. Pattern directory. So this is also, with all the callouts, you're also getting a trading notebook with screenshots of all these patterns from when they happen, and we're always adding to it and You guys help chip in too. When you find a good pattern or you see a good gem, let me know so we can research it and spread the word inside the Discord. See this head and shoulders? And that's what's been hitting Caspa constantly, right? It's head and shoulders here, head and shoulders there. So this gravitational field is enormous, meaning the farthest distance the price had moved was here. And we just take this repeating trend line, we placed it directly on top of the farthest distance, and that's how we knew all the way back here, price was going to bounce off there at 18 cents. How wild is that? Where were those Caspa shorts? Right here. See that? This is how we did this. And we've done this on Bitcoin multiple times. Here's an example of that exact same technique on Bitcoin. This is a Y-axis support on Bitcoin. It's all over the place when you zoom in. It just keeps hitting, and there's Fibonacci levels on it. Look at this. Off that peak, and we actually utilize this to call a bounce on Bitcoin and upside. The Y-axis is right here. See this original breakout? Cloning that line, boom. That's how you get the bottom of the cup, and this is where it gets really, really unbelievable. And I'm about to show you this on Tau, because when you see it on Tau, that's when you're just going to go, what? Oh my God. So what we do, and you can go back and watch our old school videos. What we're doing is we're zooming in, and this is back when the chart looked like this. We're counting maximum numbers of contacts. This is any trading book about how to set up a trend line, how to set up a Fibonacci pitch. You have to count the maximum amount of contact points, and there's only one answer at the end of the day. It's not an opinion-based thing. This isn't art, it's math, counting. So we get a lot of pressure along the golden pocket here. We have the peak here. So we're like, okay, this is our Fibonacci. And we use this back here for the handle. We started getting worried here. We're like, whoa, we just lost the golden pocket, which means we're going all the way down to here. I actually had a 1 million Caspa leverage trade open right here. How insane is that? Look what happens later. You can watch these old videos. So we've got this set up. Look at this. It just becomes the top. How insane is that? You see this? It just becomes the total top. And right now, people have noted we're falling out of the power law. This is almost like if you were to take a globe, you know, those globe style maps and lay them out. This is just a different way to map things that are circular. It's a different version of the power law, much easier to get call outs with. I don't like the power law, that curvy Nike stuff. This is way better. And as we fell out of the power law, we fell out of this repeating trend line. Look at it on Tau. This is just totally goofy. So we're recognizing, and wait until we zoom in on this, because when we zoom in is when it gets completely out there. We started recognizing that this was going down in VIP right around September, right around that green zone. Look at this when we zoom in. So we recognize it right here, September 20th. It bounces off this level. Wait a second. This is slightly off. There it is. Okay. Yeah, it gets crooked sometimes. You guys know when you move TradingView. Anyway, bounces off the golden pocket, comes up, finds resistance here, finds support all along this level, comes back up to the blue zone, finding resistance exactly. This is precisely what happened on its previous replicating, cloning, repeating Fibonacci channel. These are the same two Fibonacci. So we were able to, at a certain point, realize it was going to jump up to about, this says 680, but we actually thought 700, and it did go right to 680. We just cloned that and then put it here. Zooming back out, this is exactly that. And then look at these downward price channels. See that? This is that same thing on Caspa. The X-axis downtrend right here. It's trapped right in there. And then here we're getting this gravitational field, and everybody, including us, everybody was getting those buy orders in at the 250. We got one too, somewhere in there. just like on Caspa. See that? With these downward ones, really good stuff. And when you combine it with this Satoshi secret, you're going right to the next level. Trades just starting to get good. You're going to find that there's two types of content creators. You got your guys who want to be your best friend. They want to do like a really social, they want to chat it up with you. And dude, that's super awesome and fun to do. But then you've got the more competitive guys who are spending a lot more time reading the white paper. They're way more interested in being like, yeah, we're not here to, kind of smooze you up like a used car salesman. We're just here to compete and show, yes, we have the styles, we have the managed learning system, we have the standard operating procedure, which is what these 24-point checklist, the 84 cut, copy, paste questions, all the macroeconomics, this is a managed learning system. You can spend eons studying crypto and it won't teach you anything about how to trade it. What we're going to do is, and this isn't necessarily going to be a fun event. This isn't something that you're going to want to do with some showgirl on Friday night. You're going to have private time, in a room by yourself to do some reading. As we know with TikTok brain, it becomes harder to read. Chip away at it. And first, just like working out, you got to work your mind. And reading white papers will put you to the test. AI helps out a lot because it's interactive. So it can be more of a video game, more fun. You're having your chat with your friend, the AI intelligence, who's been, obviously giving us the best answers. Do I think that I'm a spectacular trader? No. Are the results amazing? They're the best online. Nobody's beaten us the past 90 days, and we can go back farther in time, and it's the exact same story again. It's just new cryptos. It's Rune. We got Rune at like $1.50 and it went up to like $6 or something. It's Zetrix, it's TIA. We avoided the GameFi fiasco. Remember all the Caspa creators were like, get GameFi, Lit Labs, GFL. That's a no-no. And that ties directly to Satoshi's secret. You buy GameFi last. Why? Why do we buy GameFi last? This is so crucial. Just to define this will help us so much more. The reason that we buy GameFi last is in a low interest rate market, it's easier for them to build and create. That's when DeFi, AI, and then finally GameFi really starts to thrive. They need to hire people to build the games. They need to market them. They need to have fun tournaments and stuff like that. This costs money. Right now, because the rates are high, it's expensive to do business. We would picture this mainly from like a mortgage standpoint. But realistically, it's all incorporated into the crypto business world. So as the rates come down, now these GameFi guys have more elbow room. They're ready to rock and roll. Here's the kicker. We're trying to copy trade the investment bankers who are working hand in hand with the central banks to hoodwink retail. They're going to buy layer ones first. They just started in with their DeFi and AI, and then they're going to do GameFi. They're going to start beefing up in market cap before the bull run unleashes. And you can flip this around and get into profit taking. A freebie, when the Fed starts saying, we're going to raise rates in 2026, sell your bag. That's it. The party's over. Remember, we already talked about this. When they start hiking this rate, that's it. The party's done. So win, lose, or draw. But also use this to let your bags run. Let it run. Let it run a bit. This is going to be a totally funky bull market. It's going to be delayed because of the correlation to the halving and the delayed rate cuts. This is something that you want to pay attention to, and we're going to be breaking this down inside of VIP. The last time they came out, some of the indicators that we were looking at, not just jobs and unemployment, because this is the thing. This is how the FOMC works right now. They've got inflation under control, which means the FOMC is holding a bunch of this money. They've got all the monopoly stuff they printed. It's cool. Inflation's not infecting the prices, but now the economy's drying up because they've got all the cash. So they've got to start to put it back on the street to stimulate the economy. So they'll flood all the money back on the street, get jobs to grow, get new developments on Wall Street, stuff along this line. Everything will be, yeah, we're in the bull market, like we showed in the beginning. Tesla, GameStop, they all peaked with Bitcoin because that's when the Fed's stimulating. And then eventually they're going to say, okay, now we're going to start reining it in. And here's the signals to watch out for. So right now we're looking into jobs because they need to cut rates to stimulate jobs. In the future, in 2026, it'll be like warehouse price index, supply chain shipping goods, like the price of goods type of numbers, because those are incorporated with inflation. Those are lagging indicators. All of these can be broken down. You can go to college for 8 years to study any of them. So we will want to listen to those type of numbers and see what's going on there, because we can get a head start. We're like, oh man, the price of everything in the warehouse is going up really big. This means we know the FOMC is going to have to do something and cut rates. Therefore, we can start to take profit, get ready. And obviously, waiting for the FOMC meetings is key. We do this inside VIP. We've got one coming up. So we'll break down the numbers, and there's tons of stuff already up there that you can soak in, but it'll be new, fresh, correlated with trades. It's awesome. Even for people who missed the MoonWell trade, the Spectral trade, all of these top trades that we showed in the beginning, the Caspa short, even for people who miss those, they're still getting more than their money's worth because they're learning and growing as traders. And you don't find this in the other VIP groups. I explored a couple to see what's going on. They're kind of doing these like super quick buy alerts, like you've got 15 minutes, or it's like some really chummy like hangout with not a lot of substance, kind of like really basic, like, I don't know, like older brother type of stuff, which is cool. And there's some value in that, absolutely. But we got to get way more above the shoulders, number-y statistics, because we're being competitive. We want to win here. That's part of the reason why Mark Cuban, Warren Buffett, they all lean against diversification, because that's just like buying an ETF and everything. You're diversified. You own a piece of America. You own a piece of crypto. If you got more than 10 bags, I've got a 4-bagger. And of course, I've got a couple more add-ons coming up. So by the time it's all said and done, I've probably got a six-pick holder. Caspa, MoonWell, Spectral, DEAI. Heavy into AI. Hindsight, I would have went heavier into DeFi first. Looking through my notebook, I just found one of my older notebooks from this summer when I was putting together the watch list. One of the other things that we have, and this is when we originally had found MoonWell, we put it on our radar, so to speak, was in the watch list. So inside here, these are all the Caspa leverage trades, and you can go back, and you should, to these 12.25 and 13.3, because that's the gravitational field in use. The Wickoff charting method, how we caught these. These were juicy, great trades. And remember back here, if you held Caspa, you were a genius, because the rest of the market was dumping. And this is something that I've been contemplating, and I want to just throw out there. It's not a fully developed theory yet, but notice how we get this sell-off here that we know is directly incorporated with the fact the FOMC delayed rate cuts. They were supposed to be cutting around here. This is when the halving happened. They stalled it, caused fear and uncertainty in the markets, but not on Caspa. From March, April to here, Caspa's been going up. right? It's been ultimately going up. So part of the theory that I'm trying to piece together is Caspa more of a store of value at its current evolution technologically? Is that what the investment bankers were thinking? One of these massive rocket ships, we correlated directly to the day of a bond auction. So we actually trace the days, the dollar amounts, and the type of assets that are getting traded during these FOMC exchanges. They're called the bond auctions. This recent one was an anomaly, but let me just show you how just deep and cool this stuff is. This is the first bond auction. Started taking place on August 26th. Look at what happened. So using technical analysis, we said we've got a repeating trend line, double falling wedge. It's the exact same falling wedge as before. Right here. Both of them caused by FOMC rate cuts, or this one, the fear of. So we find the next bond auction. And it's scheduled to start here at September 28th and then end September 29th. And look what happens. Downside. And then here's the next one, kind of here and here, and it just ended. So this one kind of less downside, and this was a big auction too. They did a lot of money. So that can help a lot when it's time to start taking profit. Actually being able to track all this stuff, do accounting of the investment bankers and the Fed, and figure out to the day, to the dollar, when all this money is changing hands. This can help. Because Caspa, this massive rocket ship here, which was very peculiar, that was on the opening day of a bond auction. Could that be definitely they have their checkbook open and they're buying Caspa? Without a doubt. As Bitcoin's been rocketing just recently, yeah. So a new avenue for you guys to check out and investigate, FOMCs. And lucky for everybody, it's right on television. So you can just turn on your TV and begin studying immediately. It's hidden in plain sight. And it's helped our VIP just put together a handful of trades that have just been the next level. Like we just went over, just 10 million market cap and up, get rid of the micro caps, and also reducing the ones that are doing less than 500,000 volume a day over the past 3 months. And these are meme coins. MoonWell. Before the FOMC, this is September 16th. We're scheming on this, right? We're like, this is rate cuts. This is it. This is their signal. DeFi does thrive in a low interest market. There's a lot of reasons, because now with DeFi, you're getting better yields than Uncle Sam's providing. It's not just the investment bankers, also rich people, whales will invest. No longer with the government treasury bonds, they'll just go to MoonWell. It's on Coinbase, it's legit. So very, very pivotal point when they cut rates. Scooping that up, scrolling down. And these are all meme coins. This is the thing. There's like no real world projects really up here. Sui, that was a good one. This is an Oracle. This one we had on a thumbnail. This may have been in a watch list as an honorable mention, I think. 01 Labs. We have a full 24-point report on this. When you're going to own $5,000 worth of a crypto, reading one of these reports can help you out a ton, helping you DCA and, most importantly, take profit when understanding everything about the project is so key. Remember how we were just talking about that one matrix fire? Problems in Japan, suddenly crashed. What if you owned a Matrix Fire and then all of a sudden, oh, well, at least you got to know everything. So we did the research for you. It's great stuff. There's a lot of advanced traders in our group, so it gets very competitive. People like hiring someone else to read white papers for them because it is not fun. So we have these reports for you. Great way to catch up on white paper reading, which is part of the game. And obviously our trades, we're holding our own. It can get boring. There's a lot of downtime. But we stay active. We're doing posts every 24, 48 hours with market insights on FOMC or whatever. And then Spectral. So this is the top 100, and we're talking out of 10,000 cryptos over the past 3 months. And we've got trading plans for all of them. And it's not like we're up there firing a machine gun. Yeah, John gets some solid picks. He does. He also fires a lot, too. He fires a lot. Does diversify a little bit heavier than us. Different styles, different variety. Our focus is we try to do more concentrated laser fire because you want big, juicy bags of winning projects. Makes it way easier to get the money in the bank. One of my biggest issues with this whole strategy of let's buy 10 meme coins is even when they rocket, a lot of those gains can be fleeting. They can just, a lot like GameStop was. That was really hard to take profit on, GameStop. Hard to sell the top. When you're using real world assets, way easier to max out the profit. Get that money in the bank. Obviously, DCA, but in combination with the technical analysis, Satoshi's secret, everything. Put the whole package together. There's Turbo. So it's good to see your real world projects beating Turbo, right? That's what we're going for. That's when you know we're like, all right, cool. So this is a huge week for crypto. Great time to join a VIP group, particularly one that focuses on FOMC data. Seeing how we had the lowest call out on MoonWell, and we've got all these projects that are all around 10 cents right now. Data shows our group probably going to have the most accurate information, the best trading plans, the best insight. I'll give you a hint. One of our posts in MoonWell is we talked about, hey, we're at a major psychological level. 10 cents, huge. That's on the title of this video. Caspa's at the 10-cent level. Spectral's at the 10-cent level. It's kind of really weird for me because I've only got 4 picks and 3 of them are all stuck at the number 10. So that's kind of crazy. But it's also good because it shows there's a lot of human error and these projects can be undervalued or whatever. Thank you. And just remember, guys, it's not me. It's the systems. The managed learning system, Satoshi's secret, the 24-point checklist, the managed learning system, and the repeating trend line. That's where it all comes from. Yes, there's experience and experience using these systems, but everybody's got their own twist. People have shared really cool trading plans, combining this with EMA and SMAs. Everybody can put their own spin on it, and that's what we have inside the Discord. All the nuts and bolts are on the Patreon app. And then everybody's chatting. There's like a town hall inside the Discord. There's even little side rooms so you can go and have a private chat with your buddy. Great package. Huge value. Crushing it over the last 90 days. Crushing it over the past 500 years. Helping some guys that were Caspa maxis. This one guy was a double shark. He spent $100,000 at Caspa, right around 5 cents. Picked up a huge bag. He's like, I got 50K. Where are we going? We're going DeFi. We're going for MoonWell. We started scheming it here, incorrectly thinking that the market was going to pull back because sometimes there's fake outs with FOMC a lot of the times. You'll get a weekend fake out and then a change in direction, and it actually goes up to this 30 cents. And then using one of our other indicators, stochastics. Let me show you this on the MoonWell chart, and then I'll show you it on DAI too. This is how we, for one, scooped up Caspa under 2 cents at the bottom of the cup. You're looking for the one-day stochastic pullback. See this? This is like an RSI that's a pendulum. It's called oscillation. When it's swinging back and forth like a hypnotist holding a stopwatch. Very similar to RSI, but completely different. So when you get a full stochastic check back, and we actually combine this with a double oscillator. So what we're really looking at here is like two top watches swinging. And when you get them kind of swinging together, that's a signal to buy. We can't really go into the details now. This is the importance of having a VIP. So right here, inside this entire MoonWell trading plan, we say, hey, go check out the video that we have explaining why you want to buy this now based on this signal, which is inside origin trend lines. It's oscillators. And then in that video, you see using that exact technique back here to buy Caspa. This was when the oscillator pulled back. Guess what just happened on DEAI? You guys see that it broke out today? Look at that. So we had like a deep pullback and then it changed entropy going up. And everybody who's watched the video and knows this technique, that's a bullish signal, because what you're looking for is these combined together. You want this one to be beefy above the baseline. When this fully retraces, that's a guaranteed upside. It's like, it's not like a 50-50 chance. It's like every time you see that, it's going to go flying. And we see that right here. And then I was actually looking at this last night and I was like, should I make a post about this? We're kind of close to the FOMC. And then it just goes boom, explodes this morning. And I'm like, yep, missed the post on that one. But it's just a great tool. And another thing about Well, we posted about this inside VIP. This is crucial. What is this classical pattern? Cup and handle. We said, hey, guess what? Just like Spectral did with Alphium, we said, we got a match with Caspa. That was exactly what we said inside VIP. Matching Caspa chart or something like that. Just to try to tell people like, this one's gonna go big. When you see the cup and handle, it's on. Let me show you the other cup and handle trade that we got earlier. Right here. So we got this one, and then this kind of funked us. It went up here, and then it made like a triple cup. But anyway, we're in here at like 170, legit. Breaks out to $7. Boom. That was dope. That was huge. We didn't have any subscribers back then either. So make sure you guys subscribe, share these videos, because we got some pretty good techniques and we give a lot away right on the surface, even more in VIP. So let's break down this orderly. Orderly Network is a combination of order-booked-based trading infrastructure and a robust liquidity layer offering spot and perpetual future order books. Unlike traditional platforms, Orderly doesn't have a front end. Instead, it operates at the core of the ecosystem, providing essential services built on top of it. You know what this sounds almost identical to, Michael? That 24-point checklist that we have that isn't listed yet. You know what I'm talking about, right? Not the GameFi one, the other one, the Polychain Capital one. This is an Oracle type of play, which is going to be a projected sector of growth. In fact, opening up another crypto rank so we can stay on that page. When we're looking at the top gainers recently, this one keeps popping up like DOA or DIA. You guys may have seen that. Where is it? It's blue. Here it is, DIA. This is an open source Oracle and data. So what that term Oracle means is this is where they get the numbers and information. Obviously, the stock market requires oracles to run. You can do this for sports betting. With tennis, something that you may have not heard about if you live in a casino community is there's guys that go to the tennis games, sit on the baseline, and they take advantage of the speed of the oracles. Because as the plays go on, there's online sports betting where you can bet like whether it's a point or a miss or whatever. And they're just doing this at the speed of light to outpace the oracles. This is the next sector. Why does oracles need to get going? It needs a lot of liquidity because once the cash starts flowing around, I already like this pick right now. This is actually a good find. Why do I like it? It's in a niche that has, we've already projected as upward growth. Oracle, ZK roll-up, real world asset, battery swap. So vetting this with the 24-point system, you want to get it side by side with its competitors. You've already got the 24-point report on one of its competitors, the unlisted Polychain Capital. One of this. Let's check out the website. Okay, so this is also a developer tool. It looks like. So yeah, these are good niches. Big on developing tools, DEAI and Spec, those are both dev tools. So this is right in our niche in terms of the VCs involved. A lot of these are on the list inside the 24-point report system. We have a list of the top 30 earning VCs. A lot of these are good guys. We got the big hitters, the guys who make money. We've got Jump Crypto right there. OKX, I think they're one too. So yeah, these guys are all good. Radium. This is a good strategic partner for them, Radium. Radium is similar to a MoonWell Aerodrome. It's a big market cap, leading market cap. It's actually up right now. Been kind of a runner, so that's a strategic partner that they have. Therefore, real world use this has, because devs and tool builders can make extensions of Radium. You know how you're always seeing like with AI, they're like, this is an extension of Tau, right? This is somehow connected to Tau. This can create them. So yeah, and this is also something that you're going to have to hold deep into Satoshi's secret. You're going to, this is definitely distribution phase peak. Is now the right time to start buying? It's the big question. If you wanted to get exposure to it, or can you wait it out? Is it going to start running on FOMC now, or is this going to be something that happens more towards February after Caspa gets the 10 BPS upgrade? All the rate cuts are done. They might cut heavily in 2025. The election may change a lot of crypto regulations. Everything can resurface, and then there's going to be the final wave of running, currently projected around February, the end of Q1, with the GameFi, the Oracles, the ZKs. You might have more time on this. So on the surface level, quick review, great find. And you got what you need to dig up and compare this with, because you've already got the 24-point report on one of his competitors. Big volume. This is something I'm a big stickler on. This has big volume, especially for the market cap. Looking into the vesting, this is why Crypto Rank is such a good tool, because it's just a one-stop shop and you get so much. Okay, marketing. There's a lot that you're going to get to research on this. This is a fun one right here. This will be fun to explore and research. And of course, the 84 cut, copy, paste questions, that's just to get you started, right? When you start going down side rabbit holes, multiple super chat GPTs and agent GPT, that's my go-to. Chat GPT is good, fun, and quick, but agent GPT, this is the best research and independent thinking, because not only do they do web skimming, they also can independently think. This bad boy, this is really strong. So you can bang out a lot of research on this and Chat GPT and really figure out the value on this, and of course how to trade it more specifically. Good find. All right, guys. So yeah, with Caspa, massive level we're approaching, and it magnetizes it in. The 10 cents, round number. Books on trading have been written about it. Big FOMC meeting coming up. And remember, this always changes the entropy of Caspa historically. It's FOMC, downfall. FOMC, downfall, FOMC. So we've got like a double, two bad FOMC meetings in a row. Is the third one a charm? There's going to be lateral movement. We have to get out of the gravitational field before any big upside. I was watching Tactical Investing, doing a video yesterday on Caspa, and he, although he's one of those guys who's more focused on the hardware, less on the charts, very bright, very smart guy. He won his fight. He fought against Tech Hustler. This was like so epic, and I would do anything in the world to fight against another Caspa content creator. That would be so fun. Obviously in a sports environment, and bet on that. That'd be so cool. But yeah, we've got to get past the gravitational field, remember. So this also can delay the Caspa breakout until January 22nd. We can be above 10 cents and still in this downward price channel. And then all of a sudden, 10 BPS upgrade. Just to show you how this model works, and how as we're going lower, what we're really doing is buying Caspa more time until it breaks out. The Wickoff method, next step, moving laterally. All right, guys. So next thing to study and pay attention to, FOMC data. Great video by Virtual Bacon here. And of course, we go into this in detail in VIP Be sure to stop by and check us out. It's $47. It's like buying a couple dozen chicken wings, and we're just going to go over the paperwork and everything. Link you to Discord, chat with the group. You can send me your portfolio. We'll do a review just to make sure you're putting everything together with this FOMC meeting stuff, how to take profit, things along those lines. Thanks for checking out this video, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.